Check, 1, 2, check, check. Check, 1, 2, check, check. Check, 3, 4. Check, 3, 4.
Is that what you have, folks around here, or are they all, they're pretty much all Kansas City?
They're all in Kansas City and State of Kansas.
Okay, so you're just kind of local connection?
I am, I am the local employee, which means I'm also my own janitor and IT person, and I'm not an IT person, so
Right.
that was probably the biggest surprise. Like, I hadn't thought through how much in my old job, how much I would like rely upon IT people to fix things.
Oh, yeah. What was your job?
I worked for the city of
Oh, okay. That's right.
so sat through many a public meeting.
Right. Well, my wife is going through, she works from home basically, but got like 2 years left of state work and thinking about doing something else, you know, like, kind of like community involvement. Stuff. A lot of companies that I work with have a lot of people works for the state. Frustrated, she's like, I don't, it's your management because people I see, they're working all the time.
What does she do?
Community involvement coordinator,
And you guys live in Jeff City?
whole summer.
Folsom. Okay, because I was gonna say Columbia usually has a lot of jobs open.
Gosh, she's from, I don't know, now she brought up, I was like, the job's one thing, now she's like, I'll be wondering, oh, it's short. Where's the light? I was like,
Good morning. The time has come. It's 11:01 a.m. and all commissioners are present. Good morning, Chair Han.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
Good morning, Acting Chair.
We're so glad you're here. I'm going to act better than the chair. She's, always in trouble doing something. So I'm gonna act better today.
Okay.
All right. So all commissioners present, we will begin the agenda meeting for today, Wednesday, October 18th. I would ask those participating online to please mute your phones unless you need to speak. There are 2 orders and 3 discussion items, but before we get to that, we have minutes to approve. Minutes from the September 10th, 2025 agenda meeting. Commissioners, are there any changes or modifications to those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? By a vote of 4-0, those minutes are approved. Next order of business are tariffs and new orders. And before I go much further, I forgot to say happy birthday to Nancy DePail. Happy birthday, Judge. I see you dressed for the event. Glad
Happy
you're
birthday,
here.
Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Commissioners.
So, first order is file number SM-2025-0067 in the matter of the joint application of Confluence Rivers Utility Operating Company, Inc. and Missouri American Water Company for authority for Confluence Rivers Utility Operating Company, Inc. to acquire certain sewer assets of Missouri American Water Company in Callaway and Morgan Counties, Missouri. On August 20th, the Commission issued its report and order in this matter, approving Missouri American's request to sell 19 small wastewater systems to Confluence Rivers. On August 29th, OPC timely filed an application for rehearing. Missouri American and Confluence Rivers filed the joint application, which the Commission approved in its report and order more than a year ago. Staff reviewed the application and recommended the Commission approve this acquisition. OPC opposes the application, claiming it would result in a net public detriment. OPC cites concerns about an acquisition premium and Confluence cost of debt. Confluence has stated it is not seeking an acquisition premium. Cost of debt, which is a rate-making issue, would be dealt with in a rate case. The case should be decided on the facts and evidence. Those being, number 1, Missouri American acquired these 19 small wastewater systems because the original owner was ceasing operations and needed a buyer. Number 2, Confluence Rivers has a history of acquiring and operating small wastewater systems. Number 3, currently Confluence Rivers customers' rates are lower than Missouri Americans. And 4, there is no record evidence that an acquisition premium exists or that Confluence Rivers will be seeking one in its next rate case. Therefore, I support this order denying the application for rehearing. And with that, I recommend we approve this order, version number 1. Chair Han?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with your comments. I had written comments as well, taking each of OPC's 3 contentions in order. Trying to decide if I'm going to read those because it might be a little lengthy. But I will go ahead and go in order. So OPC in their request for rehearing had 3 contentions. One, that the commission relied on the conclusion that the acquisition premium may not exist and that it should not be recovered from customers, but that the record does not support those conclusions. Second, the commission dismissed OPC's arguments regarding higher future rates as speculative. And 3, that the commission incorrectly concluded that OPC had not presented sufficient evidence to support the loss of economies of scale detriment. With regard to number 1, the record does in fact support the conclusion that the acquisition premium may not exist and that Confluence agrees it does not seek to recover one if it does exist. Mr. Silas's rebuttal on page 24, Exhibit 3P, he responds to OPC's claims that an acquisition premium exists, that the possible existence of an acquisition premium or adjustment, which is merely a difference between the purchase price and the net original cost at the time of closing, in some amount is not a detriment unto itself. The reference is to some amount because, and since the filing of this case, approximately 10 months and now even more have passed. At a minimum, some amount of investment will have been made. The depreciation reserve will necessarily have been increased through the passage of time. As a closing date, if any, is still unknown, it's not possible to establish the precise calculation of the acquisition premium at that time. Mr. Cooper, on page 40 of the transcript from the hearing, confirmed that consistent with those understandings, whatever acquisition adjustment may exist at closing, Confluence Rivers is not requesting and does not expect to recover that premium in rates. With regard to the second contention, that the commission dismissed OPC's arguments regarding higher future rates as speculative, largely because Confluence would have a higher cost of debt. As OPC knows, the cost of debt is only one factor in rate making among a myriad of factors, many of which OPC argues about in other cases ad nauseum. Just because the commission does not agree that the cost of debt is the only factor in rate making to be considered in the overall net detriment standard does not mean that the commission did not appropriately weigh it as a factor. It means that the commission thought of the totality of rate making and can consider the cost of debt as part of that equation, and did not find that that single rate making factor would result in a net detriment to ratepayers when considering this transaction. With regard to OPC's allegation number 3 that the commission incorrectly concluded that the OPC had not provided sufficient evidence to support the loss of economies of scale detriment. In OPC's request for rehearing, OPC argues that, as highlighted by Mr. Cooper in the hearing, that implies Missouri American should never be able to sell assets to any other utility because they would always be the larger utility. I would challenge OPC to think of a company other than Confluence that OPC would support using the same detriments as presented in this case in acquiring these systems. I'm unconvinced there's any other company out there willing to acquire such systems, make upgrades, and ensure safe and adequate service. In fact, prior to the existence of Confluence, the problem with many small systems, especially those in non-compliance with DNR requirements, were that they would indefinitely sit in receivership. I'm glad that this is really not the situation now and that Confluence can acquire these systems and operate them just like they operate their other small systems. So with that, Madam Chair, I'll be supporting this order.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Coltmeyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm in agreement with Chair Hahn's comments, and I thank her for her comments. And because I'm in agreement, I will support this order.
Thank you, Commissioner Coltmeyer. Commissioner Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioner Hahn. I think your reasoning and arguments are well organized and clearly stated, and there's really nothing meaningful I can add to it, and I guess that's just part of the problem of being last on the list, but with that, I do support this order.
Thank you, Commissioner. All those in favor of approving this order, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? By a vote of 4-0, that order is approved. Next is file number EF-2024-0021 in the matter of the petition of Union Electric Company doing business as Ameren, Missouri, for a financing order authorizing the issue of securitized utility tariff bonds for energy transition costs related to Rush Island Energy Center. On August 29th, Ameren filed a revised tariff sheet to update its securitization charge. The tariff sheet has an effective date of October 1st. Staff filed a recommendation stating it had reviewed Ameren's revised securitization tariff sheet and supporting information and recommended the Commission approve it. The new tariff will reduce costs to ratepayers by $6.8 million. Thus, the order before us approves the tariff sheet to take effect on October 1st. Again, I'm going to start with Chair Hahn. With that, I recommend we approve the order, version number 1.
I'm in support of the order.
Thank you. Commissioner Kolkmeyer,
I support the order.
Commissioner Mitchell.
I'm in support of the order.
All in favor of approving this order, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? By a vote of 4-0, that order is approved. Next, we will move to other discussion. And we'll start with our Secretary, Nancy DePail, a sunshine request to be considered.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is a basic sunshine request from an Ameren customer who wanted to get copies of his records from his informal complaint. Some of those records are items that were received from Ameren, so I contacted Ameren to see if they had any objection to their release, and they do not. So I would recommend that the Commission vote to release those records, which would otherwise be restricted under 386-480.
Thank you. Any questions from commissioners? Hearing none, as Judge DePail noted, we will be required to vote to release this information. So all in favor vote aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
This has passed. Thank you. Next is the 2026 Gas Pipeline Safety Program Base Grant Application and Certification. Is Jim Bush here? I haven't seen him. And if not, Kathleen McNillis, if you got come forward just in case there are some questions. Would you
Thank
tell
you.
us all about this, please?
Yes, we're requesting that the commission vote to approve our submission of the base grant certification application for 2026. Part of the base grant program requires the Public Service Commission to participate in a federal monitoring of our performance. And during that monitoring, they review our records and records that companies provide us. So the concern there, or not concern, but the reason we are requesting the vote is because the information that they will look at could be confidential to the companies.
Okay, thank you. Are there any commission questions? Hearing none, we do need to vote on this. So all in favor vote aye. Aye.
Aye.
And this is to submit the application and certification. Any opposed? The vote passes. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kathleen. The last discussion item is the annual federal USF high cost support certification. I see John Van Ashland back there. Are you coming forth, John, or Carrie, or anyone to possibly? Okay. Thank you, Carrie.
Good morning, thank
Good
you.
morning. Thank you.
The FCC relies on state commissions to annually certify high-cost eligible telecommunication carriers, basically certify that they are using the high-cost funding for its intended purpose. This certification is needed so that these companies continue to get high-cost funding for the provision of voice and broadband services in future years to get those services to high-cost areas. In our review, we ensure that the companies are complying with federal and state statutes and rules in relation to the high-cost funding. And we would like to certify that 58 companies have complied with these requirements. The reporting requirements, and are being recommended for certification this year. In comparison to last year, there are 6 companies that are not included. These companies just simply either have relinquished their ETC status in Missouri, or they no longer receive high-cost support, and they're not seeking certification. So all the companies are doing what they're supposed to be doing, getting service to these areas that are rural, high-cost areas. The companies being recommended, they're either meeting their obligations. Some of them have already met them ahead of schedule. Some are on track to meet them. And then some companies are getting funding that their first milestone is not due until the end of this year. But we don't see any companies having any problems meeting these obligations. The companies that we're recommending, there's 58 of them, and we're just seeking approval to go ahead and make the filing with the FCC and the Universal Service Administrator.
Thank you, Carrie. Are there any questions?
I have just one.
Go ahead.
High cost, does that mean they're predominantly serving low population densities with?
Yes, areas where it's
customers
expensive to get the facilities there.
So the economies of scale don't exist in those areas like
Right.
they do in others? Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions? Then we will take a vote to authorize the submission of the certification. All those in favor vote aye. Aye. Those
Aye.
opposed? The vote has been approved. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
The last order of business is scheduling. On Monday, September 22nd, there is a local public hearing in WR-2025-0294 in the matter of a small company rate increase for Raytown Water Company. It will be held at the Knights of Columbus Hall, 5101 Blue Ridge Cutoff in Kansas City, Missouri at 6 p.m. Judge Clark will be officiating. On Wednesday, September 24th, we have agenda at 11 a.m. On Monday, September 29th through Friday, October the 3rd, there is an evidentiary hearing in EO-2025-0154 in the matter of the application of Evergy, Missouri Metro and Evergy, Missouri West for approval of new and modified tariffs for service to large load customers. That will be here, room 310 at 9 a.m. each of those days, again, starting on September 29th. Judge Walker will officiate. On Wednesday, October 1st, we have agenda at 11 a.m. Monday, October 6th, through Monday, October 20th, there's an evidentiary hearing in ER-2024-0261 in the matter of the request of liberty for authority to file tariffs increasing rates for electric service provided to customers in its Missouri service area. That too will be here, room 310, starting at 9 a.m. On Monday, October 6th, Judge Hatcher will officiate. On Tuesday, October 7th, we have the Power Mo event. I encourage you all to be in attendance. That can be on Thursday, October 9th, agenda at 1 p.m. On Thursday, October 16th, agenda is at 11 a.m. That's being moved as a result of the Columbus Day holiday. And lastly, on Wednesday, October 22nd, we have agenda at 11 a.m. That is the last matter of official business, but there is a very important thing that must be mentioned, and that is that tomorrow is Chair Han's birthday. The big, I won't say it on record, but but if you've been on the elevators at all, you've seen some really cute pictures of her as a wee one celebrating past birthdays, and she looks just as mischievous in those pictures as she does right now. So happy birthday, Chair Han. We wish
Happy
we could
birthday.
celebrate it with you, but of course you are on business for the commission and today, and we appreciate you, and we wish you a very happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Enjoy. Have some cake for me, please. Any further business coming before the commission? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Oh, wait. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Madam
Thank
Chair.
you, Madam
Thank
Chair.
you all. Have a good day. Be safe out there.